Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers in London. This morning I'm looking at a book in a series of revision books which have come to us from Routledge. It's part of the Taylor and Francis group of publications for law students. And this one is in what is known as the Optimised Law Revision series, and it covers the subject of criminal law, which is not actually one of the easier subjects. Many people think it is, but it's actually quite hard. The book has been written by John Hendy and Odette Hutchinson, and there is a companion website. More about that in a minute. My wife and I, Elizabeth and I, have looked at the book and we decided to give it this title. These optimise your blueprint for exam success tips for the difficult and complex subject of criminal law are superb for your final revision programme. And they are basically tips. Let's have a look at the book itself. It's a paperback. It's not a big book at all. There's the spine and then there's the back. There are lots of instructions about how to use it. It's result focused, as they say in the top corner there. There is an index at the back which you can see. And then if we just go into the book itself, there's a chapter on theft. And you've got a nice index at the front, very simple index to try and make it very easy. Understand the law, remember the detail, reflect critically on the areas of debate, contextualise and apply your skills and knowledge. Then you've got a chapter map. That chapter map is very helpful. It gives you a picture of where you are. Then you've got, because it's statute based, you've got the Theft Act there, and it's set out in a very simple manner. Then you have an introduction. Then you have a number of these shaded boxes. Aim higher, that's for particular points. Then you've got other shaded boxes, such as common pitfalls, which I think are also very important, especially if you're a distance learner, because you can actually have some problems concerning understanding what you want. Then you have quite a lot of diagrams, of course. Actus Reus is mentioned there too. If we go to the front of the book, you can see right at the front, there's the front cover there. Then you've got the Law Revision series itself. There are a lot of books in the series: Contract Crime, English Legal System, Equity, EU Law, Land Law, Public Law. Then there are 11 chapters in total. You can see they start off with the main areas, then deal with defences at the back. Then do have a look at the Optimise general reference points, because that tells you how to use the book. There's optimising all the various points that you might have there. Then there's a guide to the companion website, which is an important new development. And you can see there all the instructions about how to use it if you're not familiar with the web. Then there's some statutes. Then you then go straight in. There's the first chapter again. You see, again, it's a standard index at the front. And this little symbol here is to tell you that there's the companion website. I'm very pleased with this book because it does put into some form of sense some of the more difficult and really quite controversial areas of criminal law, which students will have problems with. And I have to say, like many people, you probably think, oh, this is relatively straightforward. Then you start getting into the subject and find it's actually rather more complex, and there are quite a lot of rules and exceptions to rules which you need to take account of. The same is actually the case with the law of evidence, which is highly criminal law based anyway, in terms of the academic content anyway. Now, this is what we say about the book. What John Hendy and Odette Hutchinson have produced here is an excellent statement of the main points of study, covering 11 topic areas for criminal law, optimising the law and catering for undergraduates looking for a departure from the traditional law texts and revision materials available. The table of key cases provides a particularly useful aid to learning for what is a dynamic and fascinating area of law. And as the publishers Routledge have stated, you can always trust the Optimised Law Revision results-focused series of books because they've been produced with the learning aids of the student firmly in mind for revision purposes. And the companion website, we feel, also gives you additional advice and exercises online to assist the learning process, especially in the run-up to the exams. Routledge and the authors here have set out in this optimised book a formidable explanation of what is readily recognised as one of the trickier legal subjects, criminal law. It's in easily understandable terms for what I think can be a difficult area of law for many to study, especially, and also actually to teach, especially for the distance learner who's got no one to actually talk to about some of the more intricate defences and problems about the statute-based offences. I think it may look superficially easy to some to understand criminal law, but it is developing obviously into a main statute-based series of laws with the necessary case law authorities to learn. And as with all the Routledge textbooks, this particular title is one of the best on the market, giving a full introduction into the way in which the criminal law operates in England and Wales, with chapter maps and sections on putting the learning into practice, where learners can use the material throughout to good problem answering use, because you will get quite a large number of problems. They call them scenarios sometimes, but they are problems, and you need to remember when they ask who you are meant to be advising, make sure you answer the question, and also you will get more marks if you answer those questions quite often, because the examiners are looking for the legal reasoning process to be brought in. The common pitfalls, the aim higher and the up for debate boxed and shaded areas, are also, we think, very useful, allowing the learner to pull all the threads learnt together to assist with a strong measure of progress as the optimised series develops and you go through the book itself. We also consider the book has much wider potential readership for anyone interested in the development of criminal law as a topical law area. One of the main reasons why we feel that the Routledge series of legal textbooks is of outstanding value is both in terms of the cost and the content, and the way in which the authors, who are all legal experts, explain substantive law issues in such a readable fashion. And so for both tutors and students, a decision on which textbook or revision book to use is always difficult, but it's clear to us from the feedback we receive from students that the Routledge texts lead the legal field, and the optimised series are particularly welcome. Many of their titles also have excellent links to the websites, and they're marked as the companion websites with that little logo I showed you, and they add much assistance to the hard-pressed learner, and I think they're a great additional tool for all. I think we'd also say that the formats used by Routledge are very modern. They're now much in the mainstream formula for legal text, which eases the student into methods of legal reasoning for those just beginning their legal studies, and for basically all people at undergraduate or professional exam level. They certainly helped us with our preparation, so do ensure that you look very carefully at all the titles they have to offer. And for the optimised series, do look at the guide to the companion web site, which is right at the front, to get the study tips and advice of how to use it. Then read the guide as to how to use the book in detail, because it does set out the important matters which you may wish to consider when looking at the problems you may be facing, the common pitfalls, expressing points of view and suggestions for exam technique, and so on. And the structure of these books with the chapter map, which I think again it visually tries to give you a picture of what you're looking at, is also of high significance when you come to sketch out your answer in the examination hall. So for us reviewing the book, the companion website we thought was an innovation. Do look at the features at the beginning of the book, as I say, which will assist your learning and engagement with the subject matter. The book, of course, this one, covers all the main topic areas on undergraduate and professional law syllabuses, and it provides a full understanding of each, with supporting resources from the web link given, which will give the student, we think, an indispensable foundation of understanding of this important area of criminal law. Let me just conclude by saying there's much food for thought throughout this excellent undergraduate optimised series for their topicality, and on where we are now, affected with the law, and in fact where we're going to be going with current matters involving criminal offences in the 21st century. So thank you very much, Routledge. It's important to know that there are lots of changes taking place in criminal law anyway. Let's have another look at the book very quickly. There it is. That little guide at the back is quite helpful very quickly to give you an idea. Let me open it up again in the middle. We're looking at non-fatal offences against the person, intention and recklessness, always an exam topic quite often. You've got some useful activities which are there, you see that mentioned there, which will give you some idea of what you should be thinking about. Then you've got aim higher, looking at it in more depth, and then things like the problems. There's again case precedent, they call them there. In other words, it's a leading authority. And as I've said to you, when you are looking at the blueprints, the Optimised series, this blueprint, don't be confused. There are other publishers who call it's the same thing. Do have a look at the guide and then have a look at how to use the website. All in all, I'd like to thank both John and Odette very much for producing this book. I think it's an excellent additional resource for anybody who's a student today. I'm recording this just before the exams in the spring of 2015. Good luck with your examinations, and I'm sure you'll find this book extremely helpful. Thank you to all concerned. Bye-bye.